So I pulled a bunch of cards, and including the two other decks I've been using. Sorry, I'm just hearing like teenagers of mine waking up and stuff. So, yeah, I'm just gonna relax for a second and try to feel what the masculine energy is doing. Yeah, again, I feel like they're still making those gentle attempts at communication. It's kind of like learning a new language for them to say like loving things, to use their emotions and see that as not a weakness, but a means to live the life that you want. And that things are not just a process of sorting through the options, like the buffet of choice or whatever. It's like, no, I know myself now. I know what I want. I know who I want. And all that kind of like buffet vibe kind of falls away, like loses the pattern of it can't be repeated because it's like they can't bring themselves to get back on that. Sorry, I don't seem to have much of a voice. Just like 1 second, I'll have a sip of something. One of my pet peeves is like, maybe this is like TMI, but like eating sounds. That's why I turn my back because I don't want to do that for you guys. But I'm sure coughing and clearing my throat is just as annoying for you. So, okay, hopefully we found a happy medium. Like pun intended, I guess. Okay, let me just get back with that energy. Yeah, so again, it's like the awkward conversation that it's sort of like no, because I'm wearing a tracksuit. I can use this comparison. Like when I was in middle school, just because I was able to run far, just because it was the only way I could spend time with my dad when I was younger, like alone, was to go on his like dawn jog. It was way earlier than like most people go for a jog. Like if some people jog at 6, like he jogs at 5, or like if people jog at 5:30, he jogs at 4:30 kind of thing. So I went with him. Like my early memories of Montreal are waking up at dawn and jogging on the mountain with him and just trying to get like tell him about my life and stuff. So anyway, I ended up being good at running just because I was trying to keep up with him, and that was the carrot, I guess. And then when I was in school, it was time for like them to choose the track team. And I don't know if I was the only or one of two, or like really one of very few people of the girls that could complete a mile without like a lot of drama. And so yeah, so I kind of feel like, okay, and I'm gonna finish the story. So, and then I was like, oh, like tapped for the track team, but I'm not a competitive person. Like I only started feeling competitive in sports in my 40s when I played street hockey with on this co-ed league. But it really took a long time because it doesn't give me pleasure to be like, I'm better than you. Eat my dust. Like I'm all for like personal best, right? So I like to run fast, but I don't need somebody else to beat, to feel like I ran fast. Like I'll like, the wind or something is my competitor kind of thing. So anyway, well, I felt like out of my comfort zone, being in a competition, like I still liked running. So it was just like this awkward combination of like things I like to do, things I don't like to do. And I kind of feel like the masculine energy, like it's that same feeling of like, I want to do this, but it's like I'm not used to this. And it's just not in the, like, it's like time's ticking, right? And it's like time to get going with this communication because it's been too long, and to express their feelings and what they want to create with the feminine energy. And but it's like they're still not used to this mode of using words to make stuff happen, and having to like be nice or like explain their heart, because like a lot of people would rather have a beer than explain all the intricacies of how their heart functions and their feelings operate and stuff. I mean, for me, like I kind of have made a life out of like kind of fearlessly explaining how I feel, because I just felt like the alternative was dark and that wasn't bringing me to good places to like hide it or pretend I'm something more acceptable to whatever everybody else is doing, or what I perceived that everybody else was doing. But anyway, so I'm like guilty on the other side of being like too comfortable explaining how my heart feels. And then, in my case, like I'm confronted with guys who really don't want to talk about their feelings, but they have feelings, but they don't, it's like, so it's like they have to find that, that track meet, the ideal track meet where they can like go as fast and far as they can with their feelings and emotions, but without that like yucky competition feeling. I guess one way to do that would be to like eliminate some of the many characters that might be surrounding the relationship that some people refer to as like karmics, or just people you care about that you've been maybe seeing for a long time, or could be friends, family, lovers, work, whatever. You just kind of need to like you can't invite everybody to your honeymoon, right? So it's kind of like you got to do like a test run of the honeymoon where you kind of clear the deck, and it's you and that person that you care about, and it's like, how do I feel in their presence? Do I feel like talking to them? Like, it's like, feel it out, like trust yourself. Like, how to run, like how to win the race. Just go to the race. Like you can't win the race unless you show up at the track meet, and see how you do when they say ready, set, go. Like, just see how you do. You'll probably finish the race. You may not go as fast and as like gracefully as you might have wished, but nonetheless you'll finish, right? So just sort of get the courage, not the courage, but just go. Like, how they say like 99% of success is just showing up. So it's kind of like just show up and then see what 1% like, good you can do with using your words. Okay. Well, there's that. Yeah, because the masculine energy is thinking about this. All right, so we have this card from the Esther and Jerry Hicks deck. I'm selfish enough to want to feel good. Yeah, because like we can get really, say what you want about having supportive people around you, but what are they supporting? Like they're maybe supporting one aspect of your efforts. Maybe it's kind of more their zone than yours, and after a while you might be just like, okay, what? Like you kind of lose sight of your direction because there's so many supportive people around. You know what I mean? So it's just like you be like this cat, just like, I just want to roll in the grass by myself and smell like what grass and those, like, I don't know what those are. I want to say clovers, but I don't think clovers are blue, but they can be purple. Anyway, I'm going to say he's rolling around in clovers and grass. So it's a bit of a nice perfume that comes off both of those. Yeah, and because there's like red and green here, it's like I want to feel good. I want to be in touch with my passion and my love. And I may have to be alone to like be in the space where I can feel like just get all up in your own energy and be selfish enough to want to feel good. And that might mean like I said, clearing the deck of people and situations so that you can have the time and space and privacy to communicate this to, like in this case, so the masculine energy can communicate to the feminine. And then it says, feeling good indicates your connection to clarity. I would agree with that. Wellness and abundance. Sorry, it's a whole sentence, so I need to start again. This is not a Hemingway set of cards where sentences are short and clear. Feeling good indicates your connection to clarity, wellness, and an abundance in all good things. Feeling good is your most natural core belief. Okay, so that's like a bit of New Age speak a bit, but I'm just going to stick with the first half of that sentence. Like, feeling good indicates your connection to clarity. Yep. And, clarity and peace and all that stuff, like, indicates that you have a connection with Source. What made you, what wants to help you. All right. I'll put you over here. I don't know if you have a cat, but I have a cat. I used to have 3. And now I have just Heaven. And yeah, he's a good reminder of just like, he just wants to check in with relaxing, feeling good, and like getting some love. And it's like, doesn't matter what time of day or night. It's like, yeah, okay, I need love now. I'm going to stand on you and I'm going to bite your hand. But what's cute is he doesn't bite my face. He'll just put his paw like on my nose or my mouth or something. And it's like, I can't get mad at that. But the biting, I take issue with sometimes. But if I just pet him, then it's all good. But he's selfish enough to want to feel good. So maybe some people might feel bitten by your selfish need to feel good. Because it's like, oh, why aren't you talking to me? Like, or why aren't we having the usual beer after work together? It's like, well, it's because selfishly I want to feel good and get into this zone of coming forward with what's important to me, and that this is a life change and a routine change. All right, I'm going to do this other card too, the Rumi card. Sacred Convergence. Ooh, I get all like funny feelings when I look at this card. Gosh, there's a lot going on here. Okay. Yeah, I kind of feel like there's some masculines. I'm picking up on a masculine energy that's sort of like kind of in the public eye or known to their community, pretty well. And they're going to make this pronouncement that's like, I'm going to be with this person. And there's all these people in the background who are like observing that and are kind of in shock at their choice, right? Like those, I don't know, these like darker lines feel like groups of people observing almost like an orator who is like speaking across this room to like somebody else and like making this gesture like I'm saying this and this is the person, and people are like, they're a bit shook, as my daughter would say. Like, let me just look at this for a second. Yeah, and I think like two other feminine energies sort of thought they had this person in the bag, and they're gonna have to sort of pretend they didn't hear the news and like carry on with their other sort of back burner relationships and pretend like it didn't faze them whatsoever, but they did really kind of have their hopes up. And it's kind of like people who in the past might have been able to dissuade the masculine really just don't have that effect on them anymore. They've just been through too much. And their clarity is such that now that he's too much in his own power and no one's going to change his mind. And so, yeah, they just don't have that forceful presence in his life anymore. It's really interesting. And there's that kind of, when people get like excited or fearful about something that, it's like the XY axis. Things can go up this way or down this way or backwards or whatever. But I kind of feel like this is really 0 point attitude where people may have wanted to take him this way or this way with this news, but he's really at the 0 point where it's like, nope, this is it. And there's not going to be any drama about it. That's kind of nice. It's a welcome kind of sober energy offered that. So we have also, I'm really picking up on the viewing audience. Okay, I'm going to try to focus. Clear quartz, clarity. I have clarity in all aspects of my life. So you can call upon quartz to help you remember that you do have clarity in all aspects of your life. You just have to kind of allow yourself to have that, because like we can be like perfect. It's kind of like I'm just picturing like a plate of grapes that are like perfect, but then the grapes might be saying to themselves like, oh, well, there's better grapes, like, I'm not like champagne grapes. Or, but it's like these are the grapes that that are wanted now. They're perfect and they're the perfect color and size and flavor, and the sun is glinting off them, whatever, but like the grapes need to get over themselves and know that they have to forget about judgment and just know that they have full clarity in all aspects. The grapes have full clarity in all aspects of their life. And balance. I'm balanced, whole, and complete. So call upon Okay, how do you what? Oh, boat. It's a J. Okay, I was like I thought I was like reading Russian for a second. It's a J. Boji stones. Balance. So I'm balanced, whole, and complete. And I have clarity. So like what? You know, that's amazing. Balance and clear. Yeah, so just like I said, he's feeling like he's at the 0 point where he's found balance and clarity, and he's just saying like, this is what I'm doing. Deal with it. Because he's thought about it and he's made a decision. Okay, so we have these 3 cups. This seems like an awesome card. Oh my god. She is like, no, there's a no BS woman. The Queen of Swords. Wow. It's like you want to party, like do not mess with her, right? Okay. So we have 2 queens. We have the Queen of Cups and the Queen of Swords appearing in this little triad here in the universe. Wow. Okay, this is like heavy duty. Like my background is more just psychic healing and psychic messages. This is like, I feel like I'm taking a tarot exam right now. But I'm just gonna try to relax and do it. I like the title of this card, the Universe card, the Great One of the Night of Time. I don't know if you guys know the band, the Incredible String Band, but they have a few songs about time that are like super heavy and interesting and great. And like time as like if you think of time as a sort of mythological person, or not even mythological, as a person, who's just like taking our reality of like timeless life and like having, flattening things in our perceptions to like mess with us and stuff. It's kind of a cool thing to think about, really. Anyhow, yeah, so it's interesting in this universe card to be like mentioning time, because when I think of the universe, I don't really think about time all that much. It's like so vast and yeah. Okay, so it may be a case of like reading the book of this deck, but these could be like two feminine energies showing up. But I would kind of feel that more if there were like 3 people showing up. This might be the Queen of Swords, may be the energy that the Divine Masculine is in right now. Because I was really feeling that with this card, where they were telling like all these like dark figures what's up and not apologizing. And this is a very much like unapologetic depiction. And I kind of feel like with all this sort of smoke, the smoke kind of looks like roses too in some cases to me. So it's like they're coming out of the ether and like they're making it very clear, like, do not, like, I know what I want, and heads are going to roll if you get in my way between me and this. Yeah. Because meanwhile, back at the ranch, like, the feminine is just nurturing, loving herself, loving the world she's in, making things grow, pouring her emotions and love into things. And she's feeling a bit tattered in the process because it's like, oh, like, doing a lot of this work alone. But regardless of how hard it's been over a long period of time, she still has this crown and she's still making beautiful things, and there's no denying that. So if people are like, oh, why is she this way, like maybe perhaps there's something about her appearance or something about her that might seem like older or more like worn out or something, but it's like, well, you can't deny that this is like a beautiful feminine energy, and who wouldn't want to be with the Queen of Cups, like, and be around all that love and nurturing. Okay, I am going to look up the universe card. Also, it's a major arcana, so I mean, usually there's like, that card might be called like the world. Oh, it's like the last. Oh, that's cool. It's the final card. Okay. Today's reading is a bit boring yesterday, but that's okay. I forgive myself. All right. Okay, I'm gonna go right to the meanings. Synthesis, world, kingdom, perfection, recognition. So Taurus and Leo are depicted in this card too. If that has any relevance for anyone. Excuse me. I was just noticing that there's like cat paw marks on my piano. Why? All right, so wow. Kingdom, perfection, recognition, world, synthesis. I mean, come on. So in the coming together, in the perfect coming together and recognizing the relationship and like complete, like it's like this is the last card of the major arcana. So like the whole voyage from the Fool to like every aspect of your growth, spending time alone, like using your power, and being too much this, too much that, and then balancing it out. And finally you've achieved this final card where you're really truly ready to come forth and celebrate and recognize this relationship. And the masculine's gonna feel like they're in the energy of the Queen of Swords, where they're just, whereas before they might have acquiesced to a great degree to people to like make them happy or sort of keep things on the down low before. Now they're saying like, no, you may think I'm like being a bit too sharp, and you might wonder why I'm picking someone who may be like a bit perhaps older or been through a lot, but she's full of love, and that's what I want, and I know what I want. I'm coming. It's time to celebrate that in its completeness, and maybe in this form. Okay, and then first I was intimidated by this spread, but it's actually kind of got a lot of positive aspects in it. Because like if you look at these cards coming up next, you see my reason for worrying. Like you have the Devil card and the Eight of Swords, and then you have the Two of Pentacles, but then you have the Ten of Pentacles. So it's like, okay. So yeah, when I was a teenager, I'd get freaked out by this card, the Devil card. But if you look at them, get nice and close, you see how the things around their necks are like loose. It could lift that off and just be like, okay, bye. You know, like sometimes this this figure is like kind of illusions and pressures that you've allowed yourself to be like a slave to. This could be like people you're used to, your family, your friends, your coworkers, your whatever, like just that feeling of just like I got you, you know, or but if you're just like putting that out of your mind a bit and just being like, well, here I am living my life, you know, on a Tuesday in April in 2019. And do I really need to be here? Do I really need to be without clothes, chained to this post, wondering like what else is out there for me? Like, nope, I can like just take this off and walk out of there. And sometimes like getting yourself out of a bad mood can just be a matter of directing your attention elsewhere and going towards it fearlessly. So you don't have to get like that freaked out about this card. It just means like there's some aspect of ego or control that, or, you know, some like long held pattern or like an old codependent. You know how codependent relationships are like a chain, and if you like walk away, then that pulls the chain of them closer, and then if they leave, like then their chain gets longer and yours gets shorter and you're being drawn to them. Like what you need to do is like take off that chain so codependence no longer exists. You're just like two people and, you know, live the life that you feel guided to live. Codependence is like, some people like romanticize that type of interaction, but in my many years, like I've seen that it's actually like really, really toxic, and it's something to learn about, like, and to no longer use in your life ASAP. So do some research on codependence and see where you're living that way and try to undo those patterns, because it's not good for anybody. Truly. Okay. Yeah. So, and with this card, it's like all of these sort of negative interactions and like overburdening yourself with too much of people's ego and like desires and communications and stuff. Like last time this card came up, I was kind of feeling like, let's say you were internet dating or like talking to people, like too many people, and they have like all their different opinions and desires of like what you should do or how they can interact with you in your life, and you're just kind of like wanting all these swords to fall away, and so you can take the blindfold off and just be yourself and not feel bound. So again, it's like like I was saying before, like clearing the deck. And like if this is the divine masculine, they're gonna walk away from these other swords, take off the blindfold, take this one sword of theirs, and get in the vibe of this, where it's like, no, I know what I want, and you know, if you try to block me, you know, heads are gonna roll, metaphorically, hopefully not in reality. But like, whereas let's just see this as someone's ego instead of their actual head. So like some people's egos are going to have to feel like, oh my gosh, like, what did you do? Like, who am I? I don't even know. Like, it's going to make them feel sad and disconnected if you no longer treat them the same way. But it's like, you know what you want now and you're coming forward in your truth, and it may seem sharp, but like, you can't be in this energy where you feel trapped by everybody's ego and the codependent desires and stuff like that. And I kind of like these two cards together, actually. I've had this before, where if you see like the village behind the guy juggling, it's like the same town that he ends up turning around, walking to, and starting his very grounded, fulfilling life with his partner. So there was this stage of wondering what to do and trying to balance out, like, well, how do I balance like what I already want to keep, that I've already had going in my life, and with this new grounded like relationship. That's the kind of feeling I'm getting. I also get the feel, like, just looking at the card, like, I get the feeling too of like these people spend some time in the city, some time in the country too, and they're tired. I just feel like they're really tired of being in this sort of novice costume, and they just want to come forward as the emperor to be with his partner, because I believe the emperor has this same outfit on. So he wants to come forward in a mature fashion to embrace this family, kind of like building a family structured life with the feminine. And when I say masculine, feminine, as usual, like, it could be any gender, but like, people embody one of those predominantly. Yeah. So it's just this phase, it seems like, in all the cards. We still have a couple more left to look at here, but I'm just like bravely, not even bravely, just being like totally balanced about it, being authentic, coming forward, and just making it clear to everybody, like, okay, stop. No more codependence, no more like overwhelming myself with too many people and not knowing what to do. I want to have this life. You know, I've thought about it. I've balanced things out for myself. I'm no longer this child, kind of, in terms of relationships. Like, I'm ready to step forward and be the emperor in this case. And just don't get freaked out by people's strong opinions or desire to keep you enslaved in a codependent situation. It's like, oh, does that mean you don't love me? It's just like, okay, that's codependent. You just have to be in the space of like, I'm not going to give codependence the satisfaction of an answer. You know, like, you know what I mean? Sometimes silence is golden, because it's like, it allows people to hear their words. Like, if, let's say, someone said something to you and there was no reply, the thing that they said kind of bounces around like a racquetball in the little racquetball like room thing, like at Graceland. And And eventually the ball comes to a rest on the ground somewhere, rolls into a corner or something, and it's just like, then it's just a ball. It's not a ball like whipping past your head. So sometimes you have to like just dodge the ball that was aimed for your head and let it tire itself out, and then it's just like, look, it's just, there's your ball, go get it. don't You don't have to react and whack it back. You can just stop bouncing. So don't be in the codependent racquetball game where you're always feeling like you have to hit the ball back. Because it's pretty like hardcore, like Yoda, you know. What do I have to do? I'm just curious. It's probably me trying to force myself back into yoga. That's probably what it is. I can't even read. Yeah, that's what it is. All right. Someone's got to exercise around here. So, all right. So I'm using racquetball as a comparison to codependence. So just put your racket down, and if someone's still whacking balls and expecting you to hit back, it's like, I don't have a racket anymore. You know, I'm not playing this game. I'm just me. I'm going to leave the racquetball club, and I'm going to go seek this out. Because there's some, like, not just love happening here, but like commitment, kind of like life-changing, pattern-changing. Saying what you feel, being clear and balanced about it. Okay, it's getting kind of chills. All right. So we have 2 cards left. It kind of looks like, okay. One of them I'm going to have to cover a little bit, but they look almost like the same 2 people in 2 different situations. So we have the 2 of Pentacles again. This is interesting. Like, you know, different depictions, but the same meaning. I'm going to read the definition because Tarot of Sexual Magic is always keeping us on our toes with their different definitions. Okay. Okay, 2 Pentacles. Embarrassment. Okay. The magic of the verbena. Embarrassment, uncertainty, unease, and the fear of getting involved must be overcome. Yeah, totally. It's like what I was saying before about the track meet. It's like, don't be embarrassed to come forward and talk about what's important to this person you care about that you're afraid to approach. Just like, you see how like they're, you know, he looks kind of nice. Like, if you just look at this, it's like, what? You know, that's a scary part. But if you just look at this, that's nice. It's like some 2 people that care about each other getting closer. Like, nothing wrong with that. So don't be scared just because you have to do something that's outside of your usual thing, like communicating your feelings. And then we have the 5 of Swords. I'm just going to cover this part of the card. Right. Because that's why. Okay. Pentacles. 5 of Swords. Shaking things up. The magic of the purple flowers. You must overcome fear of judgment, shame, and a sense of inadequacy. You must give yourself a good shake and take some risks. Wow, okay. Like, totally in line with the rest of the reading. So yeah, have the courage. Do something a little different than you're used to come forward and express your love. Because you've done a lot, like a lot of thinking about it and trying to balance things out and prepare for this. You've recognized that you were in codependent relationships and being like your life was being taken over by other people's wants and desires and control. And it was making you feel like blinded to your own purpose, having everybody else's communication around you of what you should be doing. But it's like, no, I want this. I want this. I want to be like the emperor in like my nice living situation with loyalty, maybe with starting bringing like little friends into the world, also known as children. I'm kind of like at a bit of a loss for words after not being that for the last, whatever it's been, hour, 45 minutes. Yeah, so, it's ready, it's like the time has come to be in your strength and tell people what's what, so that you can have this queen who, may look like to other people, like to be a bit like maybe older, more tired or rough around the edges or something, but she's so loving, and that's really like special and what you want. And you're clear and balanced about your decision. You got to like step out of your comfort zone and come forward and communicate. And like I was saying at the beginning, yeah, and you've thought about it long and hard about what you want to do. You've thought about it for a long time. That's what you want to do. And you're going to speak it clearly to the community, and they really are not in a position to change your mind anymore. So that's pretty strong. Yeah. And just because you're not feeling like the competitive aspect of it, or like that you have to confront other people's desire to control you or be in your life and stuff like that. Like, you still have to run this race and like get to your goal. Okay. I really hope this was of some use to you or in some way. And I hope you have a really good day, and I will see you soon.